Hands up if you're leaving things all over the place, you cannot find your keys, you forgot that appointment today, and you're completely zoned out when someone was talking to you. Hopefully not in this episode. Hi guys, welcome to the Crystalline podcast, a podcast all about self-love, personal growth, and self-worth. I'm your host, Summer Clarke. This episode is all about ADHD, and we're going to be talking about it in women. It's a topic that's not really discussed a lot, because people just don't know. It's not actually researched to the point, it could be. I think a lot of people think, oh yeah, ADHD is this, is that, but then they always say it's different in women. So we're just gonna have a little, chat about it. We're gonna talk about oneself and, one's experience, So guys, let me know your stories as well. Feel free to leave any kind of funny story. I could tell you a funny story right now. I'll probably forget it in a minute. But leave any funny stories or anything interesting to share. I think that'd be really great in the comments. So this episode is a little bit more of a foolproof episode. I did try to do something yesterday and then I was like, no, that's not it. We're not having it. Took it down. I was like, no, we can use some of it for I don't know, content creation, la-di-da. But I thought we're gonna go audio because I don't care that a lot of podcasts are being video now. It's I do have an episode that I need to edit. Who has the time? Am I right, everyone? But it's not. It's it'll get there. It'll get out eventually. But I just felt today I just need to redo whatever happened yesterday because I just don't think it was good. I wasn't confident. And you know what I just did? I just went for a walk and I was like, okay, we need to make this audio. We need to think of a plan because walks bring such clarity. If you guys have got the brain fuzz, the brain fog, the brain fuzz, and you just don't know what's going on, there is nothing wrong with a walk for clarity. Talk to yourself. Who cares? Clear things out, understand things better, relax, zen out, do what's right for you. And we're going to talk about doing what's right for you and what I found on my walk. Oh my gosh, it was probably poo. There's a lot of nature out there, guys. No, I'm kidding. Right, so it was mine. No, it wasn't. Ew. No. So gosh, what is it? I started off with saying how ADHD is what it is, but it's actually the disorder part, the end bit. Where it's people, I swear, this is just my little theory. And I heard it off one of the guys of Cinema Therapy, who are great, and you should definitely watch their channel. I think they're fantastic. Because it's cinema and therapy all in one. It's just the best. Those are my two favourite things. So, and he said, I don't think of my ADHD as a disorder now. So, and I was like, oh yeah, because that makes sense. Because I never accepted it. I never accepted it could be a possibility because of what the research, what you hear at school, people have it, the stigma about it, and how it's just, you get really caught up in the negative of it. It was that time, it was the 90s and stuff, everything was negative. But there's actually a lot of benefits to people with ADHD, I think. We're going to discuss that a little bit later and how it's a lot. People oh, you're taking on too much. And I'm like, no, this is fine. This is normal. Why is everyone going in slow motion? Yeah, no. But the disorder part, I was this really affected me because I always denied that I would have it because I think of myself as a very organized person and I really hate it. Guys, I hate it when things are not organized, things are not in a place, I'm just crazy like that. I think it's I don't think it's OCPD, which is, people get confused with OCD, having things neat and tidy. That could be. I don't know. But yeah, so I was like, is this a disorder? Because there are things I noticed things like I would go to a party, I would wear a certain dress that didn't require a bra, and to my horror, when I got back, I had left my bra in the front room where my housemate could see it because I had my like blinds up, like, because my lovely plants, they need like the sun and stuff, you know. I've got like a fake light for them now for the winter, you know. Got to take care of my little plants. Anyway, not being a widow, but totally being a widow. I was like, right, I just ran to the front room. It's like, just take the bra off and just refer. And I'd left it there. And you know what? Hands up, leave in the comments like a little, I don't know, crystal emoji or something. It's Crystalline podcast. Not anything else. Nothing else, Chris. Just leave it if you've like left something and you're like, oh, where did it go? Or like, how did it get there? So I don't remember leaving that there or like just losing something. It's just like it was right there. Did I put that there? Like, oh my god, it happens. And I start to notice this. And it's never happened before. And I can remember a time where I knew where things were. I instantly knew where things were. And it could be a situation of maybe where I live is not the best like environment for me. Maybe my room's too small. You know, maybe I need something better for a better system. And we're gonna talk about like systems in a second, because they're so helpful. But yeah, like never accepted it. But we're gonna talk a little bit more about like actually ADHD itself. So ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, in women is a neurodevelopmental condition characterized by persistent patterns of inattention and hyperactivity, impulsivity that interfere with functioning or development. The core symptoms are the same as men, but the presentation is often different and less obvious. So, like, leading to, yeah, like different outcomes because that is it. People don't necessarily understand. Like, I think I read a report about how women are often called lazy, you know, just like all the criticism. We get all the criticism. Not necessarily, but like a lot of women with ADHD are left confused, not sure of, you know, what. Hands up, leave that diamond emoji, like reach out, it's gonna be fine. Tell me your stories, if you want to share any, of like how like people have treated you because of your ADHD. And I know my sister is a complete advocate of it, and if she's listening, she will completely understand. And but my sister's house has always been chaos, and I'll say it, it's been chaos. And I'm just like, I just don't understand. Why is this the way? Why are you the way you are? Like, it was a whole thing. Like, my whole family criticized her completely all the time. Mess everywhere. Like, it's a nightmare. Like, the house is a nightmare. Sorry to my sister, but it was bad. And we're just like, I just can't believe that. There were times where, you know, I think we went to go out somewhere, and it started to rain, and I looked at her and I was like, well, don't you have a coat? And I looked at my dad, I was like, didn't you bring coats? Like, and she was like, no. Mild breakdown in the car, she was very pregnant. I was just like, okay, so things like that, yeah. And you know what? I will talk about it in a second of how like overcoming like these little things to do, like missing out on these little things. I'll tell you my like what I do, because I do think of myself as a highly organized person, and I have that standard where I will be quite strict and disciplined about it. So yeah, so while ADHD has three main subtypes, is predominantly, can't even say the word, predominantly, sorry, predominantly, oh my god, it's probably like you get what I mean, right? Inattentive and the word again, predominantly hyperactive, impulsive, and combined. Women and girls are disproportionately diagnosed with their predominantly, right? Inattentive presentation, formerly known as ADD. Now, my dad said that he thinks he has that, and I wouldn't have stepped forward and said that, because I remember sitting around my nan's. I said to her, I was like, "Do you think I have ADHD?" Like, I was just like, because my housemate said she had it as well, so it was just like, I felt a little bit okay because my housemate is like this someone, you hold in high regard. She's like amazing. She's got this. She's like really awesome. And I was like, oh my gosh, she can have it, it's okay. Like, because she's just amazing. And that kind of goes like, you don't stereotype. And I never thought, like, you just never think, but until you actually know the symptoms of it, you don't know, and you will look at someone like they're unclean or unorganized and this or that, and it's just a thing. So I'm not gonna say that, but like the signs, like here's some signs of ADHD in women, and they are less disruptive to others but are profoundly chaotic internally. So disorganization, so inattention, so that's probably a bit of the cause. There's disorganization, chronic clutter. This is my sister, oh my god. Missed deadlines, poor time management, difficulty prioritizing. Oh, I hate poor time management. I have to, if I don't, because it's not in my brain, we don't have future perception. So it's like, I remember when my boss, like my manager, asked me, she was like, "Can you change your shift to this and this?" And I was like, "But I've already organized my week." And she was like, "Can you change it to this and this?" And I was just like, "But I've already organized my week." It was probably the minus change, but I was just like, that to me is just absolute carnage, like chaos. Like, I can't think of it. And when they ask my shifts, it's like I need to go and look at my calendar because I do not know. Like, I just don't know. Like, I'm very present in the moment right now because I can't see the future in that way. I can't look, and this is something I've noticed that's kind of degraded because I used to be able to know when or what I'm doing. So constant checkup of the calendar is a great way to stay obviously organized. Even as just taking like 10 minutes in the day to look at what you want to do. And if you don't, and if you have that like lingering kind of like, I used to call them ghost days, where it's like you feel like you're wandering on this earth plane and you just don't know what you want to do, it's always really great just to write a list. This is ridiculous. Who would even? No, I love lists. And that's the thing. It's like, I've always loved lists. I have apps for lists and listen lists. And I have like diaries that cater to having lists. There's like a priority list, there's a to-do list, and there's like a little note section at the bottom where you can just like brainstorm everything you have to do. And then I write them in the list in the order I want to do it. So difficulty also with prioritizing as well. So it's like, which is the most important? And God, that could be the hardest question. For me, I don't think I have that issue for me yet. I think there have been some cases where it's just been but I've noticed that the more overwhelmed I felt, the more it would flare up. It would become that disorder. Because I would have like a shift, say it's really early in the morning, and this happened twice. It was horrific. So if I was working too many hours, if it was all out of balance, if things, check your life, right? Because if it's not in balance and you're not zen, it's a disaster. Because I went to work really early, and my housemate, she was like, you've left your key in the door. Like, basically, don't do that. Because if someone nabs the key, it's expensive to get the locks changed, blah, blah, blah. Okay, right, fine. Because I used to have my car keys and my door keys separate. They were on like different keychains. And I was like, fine. She left the pot, like, you know, my key under the pot, and, you know, it's fine. The flower pot thing. And that was fine. Next day, because it was off the key ring, she took off the key ring to put it under the pot. And I grabbed it, and then I was like, the next day, I'd actually thrown it. I'd forgotten that I'd thrown it in the car, like, because I have to have a pillow because I'm like so short. I need a pillow in the car, like on my seat, so I'm tall enough. And I'm like a hobbit, it's fine. And I was like, where? And on my break, I was like, where's my key? Where is my key? I was like, oh no. And I had a massive panic. I was like, where is my key? Where's my key? And I had like a breakdown. And I hated that. I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it. And I don't think of myself as disorganized. I actually feel like I hold it to my self-worth to be organized and have like some kind of weird standard of being like on it all the time. And it turns out it was like underneath my pillow in my car seat, but that enough was just horrendous. I now have, this is like an overcoming thing. This was like a solution to the problem, which is basically attach my keys to my car keys. Like, that was it. But oh god, that was so bad. I was like, where is that? And that was a moment. Woohoo! So internalized restlessness, sometimes, yeah, this can happen. So, or a motor feeling inside the brain, racing thoughts, excessive talking, chattiness, or talking to myself. So this is where I also, because I remember asking my boss, because her husband has, my old boss, her husband has autism as well, like Asperger's. And I was like, have you, you know, like racing thoughts. Because I remember this feeling of just like, I just need to, you know, run around like I've had 50 cups of coffee and I just need to. And I said to her, I was like, does your husband ever feel like this? And she said no. So I was like, okay, maybe that might be another sign, but I never thought of it. But I've had moments like that before where I'm just like, rah! But I don't know how to get rid of it. I never have the hyperactivity that much. Or the attention bit, you know. There have been times where I have had it, and looking back, like, I think it's ruined relationships. Oh, completely slashed that relationship right up. That was a disaster. We're not going to talk about that. Where I'd want attention, and obviously he wasn't giving me enough attention, so I would not create scenarios, but maybe I was creating scenarios where I feel like my needs weren't being met, so I would just have to be like, nudge, nudge, raw, like, drama. Like, so I feel like I need to be with someone that completely meets my needs. If not, I will do things like blah in a way that I can't do it. And that could be like, is that emotional dysregulation? I don't know if that's part of it. We need to look into it a little bit more. But who is we? Me and my ADHD. We need to look into it a little bit more. But yeah, so drama. So racing thoughts. So I can get like that. And I can be up at 4 a.m. sometimes if I have an idea. This has happened to me. I was like, oh, I've got this bloody great idea. Oh, let's go make a cup of tea and be on my computer at 4 a.m. And, you know, that's fine. That happens sometimes. It's okay. My housemate understands, but she's never been like that. She's never been like, yeah. And excessive talking, shyness. Yes, maybe. Who knows? Talking to self. Oh, God. Oh no. Oh no. Could be. Yeah, I do talk to myself. Oh my god, that's so bad. I'm talking to you guys right now, but I'm talking to myself. Oh my god. Anyway, so emotional dysregulation. We're going to talk about next. So intense, overwhelming emotions, rejection, sensitive, dysphoria. Why didn't you love me? Sorry. Extreme emotional pain from, perceived criticism or frequent mood swings. I don't think I have mood swings. Hands up if you've got mood swings, Do you have mood swings? I think I have an ability to change from things that I don't care about anymore. I don't know. So I cared, now I just don't. I've moved on, I've figured out the problem. That's fine. And I've always kind of felt like that. So perfection. Oh my god. Perfectionism. This is me saying, I have a standard. Oh my god. Everything has to be perfect. OCPD, guys. So perfectionism and masking. So developing a complex, exhausting coping mechanisms to appear normal and hide the internal chaos. Oh, that's crazy. No, perfectionism, yeah. But that's just always been me, and that's the way I like it. So, yeah, I don't know, that's the way I like it. So, I don't know. So, masking is a horrific one. Because I think masking really makes you obviously lose yourself and makes you appear, it makes you appear in a certain way, or the way, what you think people will like. But honestly, if you're pretending to be someone that you think, people will like, they're not the right people for you. And if they do like you, they're not the right people for you. Just be yourself. If people don't understand, that really is their problem. It's their loss. Who cares? Like, go away. Go ahead. Like, I was talking about that today with someone. I said, what was it? She said, because we've got these little books, so I volunteered doing something. And I read that today, and we've got these little guidebooks, and they're horrific. And I said to her, I was like, I'm gonna do this like this. And she was like, all right. I was like, no, you don't understand the talent it takes to make this amazing and organized and beautiful. So go away. I also helped her pump up her flat tire. There wasn't that much gratitude, so she can go away. She's not my person. Just like a little bit more. Go ahead. But obviously that's not, if people have an issue with you, it's never your problem, it's theirs. They're the one that doesn't understand you, and it's not an issue. It's not an issue, really. Like, people, like, just be yourself, your vibe, your tribe, Don't ever bother, and do not impress people. Don't. You don't need to people please. You don't need to people please. Not at all. The right people will find you. Alright? None of that. None of that people pleasing. So, comorbidity. What's that? So, yeah, higher rates of co-occurring anxiety, depression, eating disorders, which are often the initial diagnosis before ADHD is found. I'm sorry if anyone's found out the way, in that way. So, like I said, ADHD in women is significantly underdiagnosed and undertreated, with many women not receiving the diagnosis until they're in their 30s or 40s or later. I thought mine came on because of stress, because like I said, when I was younger, it didn't really bother me that much, even though I did go outside. What is this? I did go outside, and oh yeah, that's right, sorry. I just found a business card. I was like, who's that? Who gave me that? Yeah, so I used to be really organized. What did I used to do? There were things like I would make pasta and I would go out the house, and my sister was like, you have made pasta. You have left it there. It is burnt to the crisp. Yeah, so, I think, I was always okay, and that's the thing where it becomes a disorder again. Like, I was okay, I, had things together, everything's fine, I got I do everything. I've got a schedule. I've set everything up. Everything is keeping up appearances. And I think a couple of years ago, or a year ago, I had some fantastic trauma. It was wonderful, spectacular, 10 out of 10. Like, beautiful. I got therapy. It was fun. It was fun. It was the greatest moment of my life. Like, it was just, yeah, cherry on top. Like, die happy now, you know? No, that sucked. It was horrific. Like, I lost all my friends. It was the worst. Like, if you go back on my episodes, I do talk about it and how it was clinical depression and how it felt like. And there was a poet that compared it to water, and I was like, oh my god, that's how I feel. A lot after, I think, long after I realized. But having it just felt like I was underwater. Like, I remember, if you guys watch anime, there's a one called Demon Slayer, and I think in the fourth, in the Swordsmith Village arc, that one, there's a bit where one of the characters, Togeto, he's upside down in water, like he's in a water vase, facing. It's like, you know, it's a whole thing. You're like, what? But yeah, listen, it's fine. But he is one of the most powerful characters, but he was under this water vase, like stuck in the middle of it. And he couldn't swim out of it. He used a sword, you know, he was trying to cut himself out of it. He was losing like oxygen, obviously in water. And he was just hanging upside down. And I was like, gosh, that's how depression feels. Like, you're powerless and you're like watching the world go by. And it's like, it was horrific. I was like, what would metaphor for like depression? But it did feel like that. Like, in this really cold, empty, like watery underwater moments, Samwise Gamgee just flopping in the water. It just felt rubbish. It was a bit crap, really, wasn't it? It's all British. But yeah, no, that's how, you know, it felt. And I felt like maybe that's the trauma, you know, that's the trauma that's triggered something. And it was so many things leading up to that made me feel that way. It was horrific. It started with this stupid boy, and if you're listening, you know who you are, you bitch. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I don't really care anymore, it's fine. But like, his loss. Anyway, so back to it. So, gosh, so it's like his loss. So yeah, no, it's fine. It was just like a pattern of things. It started like a weird chain reaction of like loads of things. Like, I argued with my friends, lost my friends, they've come back. So yeah, no, they've all come back. They've been like, you're an idiot. Where are you even? My god. And I just apologized and explained like, this is how it was. Tail between your legs, and sometimes you just gotta do that, you know? Just gotta do it. So, early research on ADHD largely focused on hyperactivity and disruptive behavior in young boys. So, resulting from the diagnostic criteria and screening tools were heavily weighed towards external visible behaviors like running around or physical fidgeting. Gosh, can't tell you how many times I've been in an exam and I just want to bloody play with a Rubik's Cube or something. So male-centric model, because girls' symptoms are awfully inattentive, like daydreaming, forgetfulness, and internal chaos. They don't fit the stereotypical hyperactive boy model, causing them to be overlooked by parents, teachers, and clinicians. Yay. That happened to me the other day. I was like listening to something really important, and there was a dog. There was several dogs, and I was like, hello, doggy, Popper, I love you. And then my brain was like, pay attention to what he's saying. I was like, oh yeah, hello, what's up? So symptom masking and social expectations definitely had the whole social expectations. I used to have the worst poshest accent you could ever have. And I used to talk, and people always comment on my accent. And it still happens in a social situation where I just really talk like I'm proper posh. Well, no, actually, I'm starting to think that's just, well, maybe how I talk. Anyway, so having that, like, because I've always thought, high class, you're perfect, you know. I've always been into Jane Austen, so I do watch a lot of Jane Austen things on TV. Obsessed with Princess Diana, so she's perfect. She's amazing. We all love her. And what other things I like? I've always just loved fancy things. Always. Did you know my toothbrush holder is a crystal vase? I love fancy things. You should see my picnic. The things that hold my beauty products, super fancy. It's this fancy bloody thing with roses on it. So pretty. Like, I've always been into crystal and stuff, just like fancy things. Fancy. So I've always, took that on, especially when it comes to, and I used to dress, like, to the nines, like, I used to just dress, like, really well, and, yeah, fantastic member society doing that. And I always wanted to, be part of the community, like figure things out, just be looked at like I am well respected. I've always wanted that. Hands up if you've ever felt like that. Oh my gosh. And I do things like that, I actually happily do live in a place where there's a lot of old people, and thank God I can talk to them. I can talk to old people. If I were to talk to someone young, I'd be like, it's Captain. No idea. I was saying it to my sister. I was like, the word low key is actually weird because I hear it in a different context. So when people say it, I'm like, what was I saying? There was a clip in it, the reel or something with what's that actor's name where he's like sup dudes like with his skateboard, and he's obviously clearly an old man. It's like, yeah, I feel like that, but that's fine. So pressure to please had that girls often socialized to be good, organized, and people pleasing. Hands up. Oh my god, this is me. It's like I'm reading my life. Oh my god. So this leads to women with ADHD to expend massive mental effort on masking, forcing themselves to appear attentive, organized, and socially adept. This compensation is physically and emotionally exhausting, but prevents their struggles from being noticed. Misinterpreted symptoms. When symptoms are visible, they are often dismissed and as character flaws or girly traits. Hyperchattiness is seen as gossiping and being a chatty Cathy. Here it even. Inattention is seen as daydreaming or being ditzy. Oh, we get all the good words, don't we? Boys are perfect. They don't get anything. I'm kidding. So emotional intensity is labeled as being too sensitive or dramatic, or even maybe crazy. Like, I feel like there's a lot of, which I don't believe in that word crazy. Like, I believe that there is a answer to the problem. An answer to the way someone behaves. And the people that don't know the answer will be more likely to say that they're crazy. That's not okay. That's not okay. That's where I'm like, no, there's no such thing as crazy. There is an answer to a problem. You just need to give them that, that my mum would hate me to say label. Because she's like, oh, why do we always label things? And I'm like, because that's our human nature. That is our human nature. We've done it from the taxonomy, which is where we categorize and classify, animals and stuff. We've always done it. So, and it's like, would you deny, if someone had a label as being like a dangerous person, it's like, if they didn't have that label, they would probably be chaos. That would be hell to work with. So I don't mind having labels. I think it's the stigma and stereotyping things that's not okay, which, that's not a thing, because everyone's so different. Like, no snowflake is the same. They're all incredible and beautiful to look at, just like you girls. Sorry. So inattentive, scenes, daydream, being ditzy, yes. Dog ears. So emotional that's just me. Like, when people I'm just like, when people just come up with dogs, I'm just like, you don't matter anymore. It's just me and the dog. There's nothing around us. So emotional intensity disabled, yeah, being too bloody crazy. It's like, no, I just don't know how to process my emotions. I'm doing everything I can to do it. So misdiagnosis as other conditions, because of the struggles and burnout are so pronounced, women with undiagnosed ADHD are frequently misdiagnosed with anxiety disorder, major depressive disorder, or bipolar disorder. Treating these secondary conditions obviously falls to the address of underlying executive function defects of ADHD, leaving the women feel like their treatment isn't working and that they are, fundamentally flawed. And that's the thing, we should be now. I might even do it as my dissertation. Let's do it on ADHD and women, because there needs to be more research into it. People just because people aren't getting the right diagnosis, so they're often, they're not having the help that they need. It's gonna trail off to something else and not be okay. Guys, we need love. Peace and love in the world. We need the correct things. Guys, okay? Yeah, we've got this. So we're going to talk about a little bit more about overcoming things, and what I've done, and if this is really helpful for you guys. Hopefully, we've been going on for so long. Maybe it's going to be an hour episode, I don't know. And we're almost done. Right, so my brain's just like your mum. Anyway, so overcoming, that was not graceful of me, I do apologize. So overcoming, the things I've done is obviously identifying where it and if there is a problem, just something that's annoying you, and why isn't that the way it should be. Oh my god. So overcoming things, one of them was where I would open the fridge and I would be like, what did I eat? When did I buy this? When was this opened? Why? Oh my god. And if I could have more with this issue, I would, which would be a list of things I have in that fridge. But I would put that up. Put it on the outside of the fridge. This is what you have in your fridge. So food labels are a really great way to do this. You can get ones with the dates on. Restaurants use them for their food. Go on Amazon right now and just buy food labels. And this is where I wish I had an affiliate, because I would make loads. No, I'm kidding. I'm not affiliated with Amazon. So I've got some books on it, but that's about it. So food labels. Hello. Get one. It has a sticker when you opened it, when it needs to be thrown out. That's it. Amazing. That is a game changer. That is the thing. Has amazing. It's the best thing. Best overpriced thing I've ever bought. Woohoo! So I wouldn't say Starbucks coffee is. They're just overpriced. They're not good. They're not good. And Costa. The worst. Oh, I get so mad. I don't want to think about it. Anyway, let's move on. So writing lists. This came in handy. I was going to a party once, and I just walked in Boots. I was like, oh, I need to go get some gum, because obviously socializing, you're going to talk to people. So right, let's go get some gum. Got out of the car, went to Boots. I bought my item. I came back in the car, sat there, and I was like, I forgot the gum. I was like, oh, I forgot the gum. But what I did have was Prada Paradox, which is a 70 quid perfume. I was like, thank God. Amazing. I was like, what just happened? Why did that happen? Like, why did that happen? What was going on in my brain at that time? I feel like I would happily wear, like, you know that in Back to the Future is on Netflix right now in the UK, where the doc just has like this massive helmet thing. I needed that to process my thoughts, you know, to recall on what the hell just happened, why it happened, why, and I don't even like it. I feel like it smells a bit grandma to me. Nah, it's alright. Sometimes really nice, but I was just like, oh, it's not smelling the way I expected just because I had a sample and that sample smells really nice. But then the original product, I'm like, oh. So if they, you know, God, they'll never sponsor me now. Like, oh my gosh. No, I'm kidding. But I'm all for Emma Watson's campaign for that perfume. I think that was incredible. So after that, I have, well, it's actually not in there anymore because I was using notes. It's up there. But writing a list before you go out of the car or out of the house. And getting into the habit of saying, no, write a list because it's going to be hell. It's going to be hell. You're not going to know who you are and what you're doing. Write a list, and they really help. Like Tesco, I shop at Tesco just because of their list. They've got a list on their app, and you connect up to that little scanning thing, which I've always embarrassed myself with, but it's like the little scanning thing, and on their like club card app or whatever it is, I don't know what that is, but they have a list, and they tell you where it is, what aisle it's on. And you can think about what you need to eat. Are you going to eat all the food that you buy? No, you're not. You're going to forget about it. It's going to be fine. But yeah, that's a thing. Just write the list of everything you need, what you need to do. Google Tasks is really good for everything. Everything. Like, I have been meaning to contact a running group for about over a month. Just to respond to their message because I contacted them after I waited a few, what was it, maybe a month before contacting them before I forgot. So yeah, write a list. Yeah, but Google Tasks, really, I think they could be better. I think there's some things they can do better, but they're pretty good. Write a list, get a list, so many list things, pen and paper, you'll be fine. So another thing that really helped was meditation. I actually felt way better after doing some meditation, maybe some yoga. I'm not actually researched into it, but I did go a little Google check, and I'm not saying give up your drugs. I'm not saying give up your medication. I do apologize. But meditation, I read they said it is just as effective as taking medication, and I was a bit like, don't, you know, give up your disclaimer. Obviously, I'm not I'm not qualified to tell you, yeah, just give it your medication, you know, just start, you know, like, you know, doing stuff, you know, you'll be fine. No, meditation did help with focus, because I gotta tell you about focus in a second. So also keeping things in a certain place, like losing things, is not okay. You can get dump trays for things, got a little ledge, you know, in your hallway, or not porch, whatever you have, you know, your hallway thing, a place in your house, a little shelf, I don't know, let's get a little shelf, you know, like key hooks, you know, get a little dump tray. And I could probably even make some dump trays, I don't know. That's another thing. If you guys want a dump tray, let me know. Comments. Just a little tray where you come in, just dump your wallet, just dump your purse, dump everything in this dump tray. And you never lose it as long as you know where everything is. Like, I also put my torch in my dump tray as well, because you never know when you're gonna need a torch. There could be like a blackout or something. And I lost it this morning. I was like, where is it? And it's just like directly on the floor in front of it. And there was another time where I did lose it, and I was like, where the fudge is it? So yeah. So keeping things in the right place, and also don't overwhelm yourself. I think that's the part where it does become a disorder, especially for me, is where I'm super overwhelmed by things. Don't do too much, and you don't have to do too much. Just don't do too much. Don't have too much. Don't do minimalism. That's where we're going. That will help you a lot. So, like, because you also got too much going on in your brain. It's like you don't need that reflecting in your happy place, your house, in your little nest, you know. So, staying organized in that way, stay organized in a way that suits you. Okay, I found, because guys, right, I want a bit. Is that a bloody? That is a plane. Let's find out what plane that is. That wasn't on the radar, but it was a plane. It's a speedy plane. It's not on the radar. But why? Anyway, so I want to talk about focus, right? That was such a loud plane. Focus for me, like, I wanted to do like a business, and I want to have like a brand, and I want to take this podcast, you know, to a better place, and I want this and I want that, and I always want to do this for myself and that for myself, and it was a mess, right? It was a pure chaotic mess. When people, you know, I'd go to these networking events and I wouldn't know what to say. Like, I wouldn't, you know, it would be, people ask me, oh, so what's your business? And I'm like, I can't bloody tell you. like I couldn't tell you unless I'd really, you know, made a kind of pitch that would be like, raw, this is who I am, this is me, you know. I'd say I can tell you, like, I can tell you. And yesterday I went on a walk, and I have like this weighted vest. Got a weighted vest, and I was like, yes, this is it. Let's lose a bit of weight with this weighted vest. So I went on like a walk, and my god, that was such a game changer, because I could focus. I had clarity. I was like, this is what I should do. This is what I should do. And I came back and wrote a flow chart. Like a flow chart, you know, like little boxes of arrows. I didn't even know what it was called, as I just said to my friends. And I was like, this is it. I've got clarity, I understand, I could do this. This is where I'm getting lost, because it's all up in the air. And I always said to people, because they've told me like, you know, things are always changing, like what you want to do is always changing, and I'm like, no, it's not, it's just a different part, it's just under the same roof, it's just a different part of the puzzle, you know, it's all under the same roof. And or you're losing focus, or you can't focus, or you struggle with focus. And, you know, I couldn't like tell people, you know, what I'm doing. I couldn't focus on it, because yes, I said there's nothing in my, I always say there's nothing in my brain. It's all on paper, because I can't explain things to people. And I actually said it today, where someone said, did you do this? And I said, I can't remember. I got a brain like a goldfish. I'm a very present person. Like, to be, as a joke, just like, I can't remember talking to these people if I did. So yes. So I came here and wrote a flowchart. And guys, if you want clarity on something you don't understand, write a flowchart. And I've stuck it up. It's next to my desk. I can look at it and think, oh yeah, I need to do that. I need to do this. Because there's so much that I want to do. And it fits on 3/4 of an A4 piece of paper, and I get it. And I get it. Like, yes, this is what I need to do. And there are things like, I'd forgotten that I wanted to give 10% of a profit of a product to charity. You know, there are things like, oh yeah, I want to do that. I want to do this. You know, I want to give, you know, free support to people. I've called them lost souls, but, you know, people who can't really necessarily afford, you know, coaching or helping, you know, a workshop that can help them. Just give it to them for free. You know, it'll probably be at my cost with like biscuits, renting biscuits and stuff. But like, yeah, you know, just give things to people. I've left out online courses. I don't think I want to do online courses. No, I've left that out. It wasn't even a part of the problem. I do have an online course, but I was like, nah, not today, son. But on it was podcast, and it said audio. And I said, stick to audio until I've got an editor, you know, until I can pay an editor to edit my videos, because I do not want to. I don't think I have time to edit my videos. And, you know, that was a whole thing. And it's like, I don't know if it's good. And like, I'm not waiting for perfect or anything, but I was just like, no, it suits me to do a podcast that's audio. So I was like, let's stick to audio until, like, you know, I've got something a bit better and bigger. So, so I thought, yes, that's the way to do it. And now it's like, I've got a crystal clear picture of what I want to do and how I'm going to do it. And it's perfect. I'm just like, yes, I was so proud of this. I messaged my friends, they were getting a message of whether they liked it or not. I was like, guys, what I did today was amazing. I wrote on a piece of paper. Amazing. But it's funny talking about a piece of paper, actually. One quick story for you guys. I did an exam, right? And they said, let's see the piece of paper, right? Because I was like, I'm going to read the question. I'm not going to get it, so I'm going to write it down in a way that I understand and to take notes, etc. And then they said, you have to destroy it afterwards. And I heard the word destroy. My brain's just like, destroy it, as in like Lord of the Rings. At the end, or the beginning, sorry, it's like, Isildur, like that. And I said, what, destroy it in the fires of Mordor? And then the examiner was like, please. And I'm like, well, here I go on a journey. And I said that to my sister, and then she sent me a picture of Frodo holding a piece of paper. Oh, that's funny. She's funny. But that's it, guys. I think I'm going to leave it there. So if you guys want to sign up to my Patreon, fortnightly sessions, we're going to try and get a community for women and those who identify as women to, discuss like different topics, different subjects, maybe go more in depth of like what we spoke about today, and share our thoughts with each other, and then just like be there for each other, like create a little community. And it's gonna be I was gonna be safe, wonderful, and fantastic at the same time, but yeah, it's gonna be that. So hopefully, but you'll have to sign up to my Patreon if you wanted that. I don't think there's an option there, and that's again where I need to take it down. Oh, Jason, does that need to go on the chart? I think it needs to go on the chart, guys. Oh my lord, I think I thought I got this. I thought I had it. Oh, I missed it. But my Patreon is like, that would really help, creating these classes. Actually, no, it is on there. It is on there, but it's just not got a title. I've got this, guys. I've got this. But creating like a little place for you guys to, help you build like a little community, I think it'd be really great. But I do need to set that up, and I'll be doing that after this podcast. So yeah, guys, I hope you got it. Leave your comments, leave your stories, share with others if you think it's going to help them. And thank you so much for listening. I've been Summer Clarke, and this has been the Crystalline podcast. Thank you so much.